What's up, guys? I'm back today with episode number 2 of our RTG of Chuck Delbert. We're back. This video is taking a little while to make, and I do apologize for that. But in this episode, we're going to have the entire freshman season of Chuck and go through the entire series. A little bit of a storyline to start this off, but we'll be doing a quick overview of every single game throughout the entire season. So without further ado, let's get started with this. So, Coach brought Chuck in with the expectation that he wasn't going to be the starter right away. He needed a little bit of time to develop. He didn't really get that much playing time on his senior year, and didn't see enough play time from him to definitively give him the starting job. So, Coach ended up bringing him in as the backup quarterback. And once he developed, learned the playbook, and learned what he needed to do, he would give him the starting job. In the three games that Chuck was on the bench for, the team ended up going 2-1. As you guys can see here, a pretty good win against ECU, getting crushed by the Terps 7-41, and then playing against FCS West. I don't know why I said W, but FCS West 28-20. So the team started off 2-1. This is the schedule. I don't know how this team ended up with 4 out of 5 weeks in a row getting an FCS team, and 3 weeks in a row getting an FCS team is absolutely insane. But you guys can see the bottom of the schedule. App State going to be a tough one. Army and UNC also going to be very, very tough games. But are going to start off in week number 4. I guess it is Chuck's first start, and going to win this game 34-31. Going to show you, or 34-21. I'm going to show you guys some of the highlights from the game. So that's what you're going to see in every single game, is just a couple clips of everything, some of the top plays from Chuck and everything like that. So I'm not exactly sure what each play is going to entail, because I recorded these a long time ago and put it all together for you guys. But you guys are going to see the highlights in the background. Chuck going to get in the end zone on that running play right there. But a pretty good start to the season for Chuck. Going to start out with a W. Going to show you guys the stats here in a second. And as you guys can see, another touchdown pass for Chuck. Heading into the next game, 24-0. I think that was the first game, the only game in the episode that I'm not going to show you guys the stats for. I think I accidentally messed it up and didn't show you guys the stats. So quickly, heading into the second game, Chuck ended up going 13 for 18, 193, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not great, but the team does get the shutout victory against an FCS team. Could not ask for a better starting schedule for Chuck's first few games of his career. And yeah, can't complain. 3 FCS teams in a row. A great time for Chuck to start learning the playbook and start getting better for the team. So hopefully win some more games and get this team to a potential bowl game. After this game, this could be 2-0 for Chuck on this season, and that'll move the team to 4-1 on the season. So 2 more wins, this team could get to a bowl game. Not too many more leaps, or not too many more challenges. But another touchdown pass there for Chuck on his way to a 24-0 victory. Coming into the next week, 35-7. Against FCS East. Pretty big game there. You guys can see put up 21 points in the second quarter, but gonna get the W there. Moving on to a couple of highlights. Actually, first, let's check out some of the stats. So 12 for 17, 182, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 75 on the ground, as well as a touchdown as well. You guys are gonna see Steven Williams. I want to say he's like either the 3rd or 4th string quarterback. He is gonna go off this season. You guys can see some of the crazy stats, but he had 77 yards there, and I think 2 touchdowns as well. So he has an insane season upcoming this year, so you guys can check out and keep a lookout for him. But he absolutely went off this season, and he had a phenomenal year, and one of Chuck's pretty much favorite targets throughout the year. So checking out some of the highlights for this episode. Chuck in a break. This is actually might have been one of my favorite highlights of the year. On a screenplay, Chuck's going to get out of the pocket, spin out of the tackle into a bunch of his own guys, and find his way and sneak his way into the end zone for a touchdown. I think one of the best clips all year, or highlights from him all year. So heading into next week against FCS Northwest, ended up winning this one 37-0. One thing I did want to quickly say, first, let's check out the stats. 11 for 14, 194, 3 touchdowns through the air. Pretty solid day. I think Chuck ended up getting injured in this one, and Wolf, the backup, ended up coming in. 5 for 6, 38 yards, and a touchdown for him as well. Chuck with only 45 on the ground, kind of quiet for him, but Slade with 82. Quickly, I did want to say, every single season, I'm going to highlight one marquee matchup game and go more in depth on that game. So, yeah, for that game, you guys can guess that's going to end up being the Army game in this episode. So you guys can check out a couple of the highlights here. A huge wide open pass for a touchdown. That actually wasn't a touchdown. What am I doing? Don't even know what's going on, but we're going to end up go on to the next week, and Old Dominion is going to win this one 23-21 against Pittsburgh. Checking out some of the stats as well after this one, but a close one there. Chuck ended up going 10 for 19, 171 touchdown, 2 picks. Wolf again coming in with 4 for 5, 74 yards and a touchdown. I think he led like one of the game-winning drives or something like that, but he ended up coming in and helping getting the W for the team. So pretty disappointing. That's one thing that I think the coach really had a couple problems with Chuck all year, was his being injury prone, and that is something that continued throughout college, as you guys are going to see, or as I'll mention it throughout the video. Chuck does get injured a couple of times throughout the season. Not a severe injury where he's out for an entire game or like even in half or anything, but he'll be out for a quarter and a half, couple plays, couple drives here and there throughout the season. So a couple missed opportunities for some stats, but it is what it is, and it's going to be okay. Pretty much the only touchdown pass, the only great play throughout this episode for Chuck. And we're going to move on to the next week against Coastal Carolina. End up winning this one 9-3. A very odd score and a very, very close game, but nothing going on. Either offense could not get the ball moving and kind of just struggled. 11 for 15 for Chuck, 193, 2 interceptions. Half of the incompletions were to the other team. Not great, but at least a high completion percentage, 73%. Can't complain. And we do end up walking away with the W. 57 yards on the ground, nothing crazy, but you guys can see Slade had a pretty solid day on the ground. But other than that, it was kind of a quiet game. You guys can see, it's a bad day when Steven Williams doesn't get a touchdown pass or touchdown reception, but he did have 74 yards, and that is how it went. Huge rushing play. I think this was in the first quarter, and this might have even been one of the first plays of the game. A huge play for Chuck there to get over midfield, and then on the very next play, it gets picked off. An interception on literally the very next play. Terrible. You guys can see some of the stats here. Just not a good game. Not a good game at all. Teams combined going, 6 for 22 on third down. Absolutely horrible. 0 for 2 on fourth. Just a really bad game. This was not a fun game to watch. But we're going to move on to the next week against Appalachian State and going to win this one 34-30. Coming out on top again. Chuck leading this team to some good victories and good start to the season for him. Wolf going to be coming in again, 2 for 4, 38 yards and a touchdown for him. But for Chuck, 15 for 24, 319 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Only 15 yards on the ground on 6 attempts, so nothing too crazy. You can see Steven Williams with 112 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Moore with 156 and a touchdown as well. So a huge day there for 2 of the wide receivers on the team. Moving on to a couple of highlights before we head to the marquee matchup against Army. Huge pass down the field, and that is going to be a huge gain as the wide receiver steps out of bounds. On to the next highlight. Chuck back to pass, running out of the pocket, going to find a receiver open deep, and you guys can see, is he going to be gone? He is going to be gone. That's going to be a touchdown pass. Moving on to the marquee matchup against Army. I think they were number 7 in the nation for this game. Heading into some of the highlights, but it's going to be a tough game. Like I said, I think they were top 10. I want to say they were number 7 in the country, but they were only in the 70s overall. So I felt like we had a chance in this game compared to potentially playing a very high overall team. But still a challenge as they are a top team in the nation. However, clip number 1 here, going to be in the second quarter, and Chuck going to be throwing a touchdown pass for a touchdown. And later in the game, to the fourth quarter, Chuck's going to get out of the pocket on an option play and get into the end zone. And that is going to be another touchdown with under a minute left. Going to get the ball back, run out of the pocket on a screen play. I hate the screen plays. They don't work. And Chuck's going to get out of the pocket over midfield. On to the next highlight. Chuck going to drop back to pass, get out of the pocket, and find Steven Williams on the run for a huge pass, bringing us to almost the 10-yard line. And this is the game-winning field goal, putting it through the uprights, and that is going to give ODU the 20-19 victory against Army. Now, pretty good game, pretty solid game, can't complain. 17 for 23, 226, 1 touchdown, no interceptions on the day for Chuck, and 87 yards on the ground. And getting the W 20-19, huge game-winning drive, as you guys can tell. And that is how that game is going to go. Very, very, very good victory as we get Chuck to come out on top. Steven Williams, 68 yards, no touchdown today. But we're going to move on to the next game. And this was the worst one of the season. You guys can see North Carolina going to be crushing ODU 40-14. The team just could not get anything going. And that is how the team's going to close out the year. Not great. 11 for 17 for Chuck, 168, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. This was a very bad, I want to say this was the worst coach calling game. It was in the snow, but coach called a terrible game. I know he called a lot of rushing plays here and just bad plays that were not getting first downs, that were not being able to move the ball on some of the plays that he was calling. So, you know, it's a bad game when Steven Williams has 2 receptions for 4 yards. So, obviously did not come out top on this one, but UNC was like a 90-plus overall team, so didn't expect to come out on top with the victory in this one. Just a couple highlights. This is pretty much one of the only highlights. Chuck with a touchdown pass right here. Not a great way to finish, but we got to check out the final stats. 121 for 189, 2,028 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, 184.3 yards per game. And I think I missed how many sacks there was, but you can see Chuck and Slade getting the same amount of rushing attempts, but Chuck had 563 yards and 5 touchdowns, 6 rushes of 20-plus yards, not too bad. 5 fumbles, going to have to work on that moving into his sophomore year. But checking out some of the stats, you guys can see Steven Williams, 42 receptions, 750 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Solid year for him, and hopefully he'll be coming back for his senior year and be another weapon for Chuck to have moving on to his sophomore and second year on the team. Lots of drops by some receivers, but we're going to move on to the bowl game. Old Dominion going to be heading to the Quick Lane Bowl against Ball State. Number 16 in the nation for ODU as they get a big victory against Army to bring them to ranked. And we're going to find a huge wide open receiver there for a very big gain as he gets pushed out of bounds over midfield almost to the 30-yard line on a play action. Chuck's going to get out of the pocket and throw this one to the open receiver. I want to say this might be Steven Williams, but I might be wrong. So you guys can see there, Chuck on a rushing play, and I think this injures him, and that is going to be put him out for the rest of the game. Wolf is going to lead this team to a victory, 22-21, going 4 for 669 yards and a touchdown. Chuck 9 for 16, 138. No touchdowns, no picks, but the team does get the victory, but Chuck did not play a huge role as Wolf was able to bring this team down the field to get a touchdown. 10 for 22 on the ground, not great. Kind of a quiet day for Chuck. The injury did not help him. Hoping moving into next year will get him to have a better injury rating and not get injured so much. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button. These videos take a long time to make, and any support on them would be very, very much appreciated. And without further ado, I'm going to end this one off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Like I said, these videos take a while to make, playing through the entire season and putting it all together for you guys in this format and getting everything all the way I want it to be put together for you guys. So if you enjoyed the video, I would greatly appreciate a like or a comment on the channel. Helps me out so much and shows me that you guys appreciate the video and the content. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to end this one off. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks with the next episode of this series.